except for a little book that was used in Florida in the public schools. You can tell by the cover, after World War II. It's not a very lively book. Every page looks pretty much like that. So there's not a single image. There are a couple of line maps. But this was the kind of history that this legislator apparently wants to go back to. This is fact-based history. This is history without interpretation. This is the testable, knowable, truthful history. But of course, it's a very incomplete and biased history. This book was the personal property of one of my students, an African American woman. This was her aunt's history when she went to school in northern Florida, not too far from where Zora Neale Hurston grew up. And I wondered what it must have been like to be a young black woman in Florida in the good old days when this was your history book. I mean, it must have been pretty tedious, and you can see why history wasn't exactly a turn-on. But what's remarkable about it, apart from a great many reliable facts, is that there are no women or African Americans in this. They're just missing. If you look on a very, very short one-paragraph description of the abolitionists before the Civil War, you will find no Nat Turner, or Denmark Vesey, or Frederick Douglass, or David Walker, or Harriet Tubman, or Sojourner Truth, or any of the others. They're just not there. And you can go on and pick it up randomly in any page. But I don't think actually that we should be so concerned about what I think of as this latest outbreak of intellectual shingles. You know, we get these periodic eruptions. They're temporarily disfiguring, they're unattractive and painful, but they're not lethal. Shingles, not lethal. And it's treatable, and you do return to a fairly normal life with proper medicine. So what we're seeing in Florida here actually is not nearly as bad as what we have seen periodically and recurrently from the late 19th century, well, from the post-Civil War period to the present day. It's it's in our grandparents' time when the mayor of Chicago had Arthur Schlesinger Sr.'s new viewpoints on American history burned on the steps of the Chicago Public Library. Arthur Schlesinger Sr.'s new viewpoints. And one of the most toxic essays, perhaps, was the role of women in American history, where he wondered, women had just gained suffrage a few years before this book burning, he wondered whether the American historical profession, thoroughly male and white, was not responsible for the suppression of the women's vote for so long, where it had been accomplished in other parts of the world. And we have had many worse situations than what's happened in Florida, and I'm comforted to hear from some of the Florida people